Our last inductee of the 2012 class is Megan McLoughlin. Charlie Beach, will you please come forward and introduce Megan, and if the two of you would come join me at the dais. Thank you.
No matter how many times I've done this, what we count, we have 8, this is 8. Whatever, I love it. Can't count anymore. Good evening. Nice to see you. I want to thank President Valsgy, Andy Robinson. I want to congratulate the other inductees for allowing me to step up here and do this thing. I feel a lot of pressure. 35 people here to see you. Including Tiffany, who came from Kentucky. And I want to thank Megan's parents, Mary and Charlie, for allowing her to come and play softball at Keene State. I value our personal friendship that grew from this decision, and I am indebted to you. After a rather inauspicious first year, mostly due to lack of appropriate coaching, things began changing in the beginning of our second year. Where's the team?
I called them, they're at the house.
They're at the house. They'll be in just in time to hear her. That's fine, that's all. They all wanted to come, and now nobody's here. We're early on? All right, this is because you spoke so quickly about everything. Things began changing in the beginning of her second year. Megan worked hard to learn a new pitch called the rise ball, but she was not comfortable with her pitching. At the end of the season, her father confided in me that after the team came back from Florida, he was not sure whether she was going to kill me or kill herself. I'm glad I didn't know that. The rise ball was becoming extremely effective. As coaches, we were gaining more and more confidence because her pitching continued to improve at a remarkable rate. With postseason tournaments looming, we began to realize that she would bear much of the load. Ultimately, our 5th place finish in the regular season earned us a trip to Southern Maine for our first round of the LEC tournament. The game was to be played on Tuesday, and as it turned out, many other spring sports had also qualified to play on that day. So our bus availability was restricted to a yellow school bus or 2 vans driven by coaches. We chose the school bus. 3+ hours, Gorham, Maine, yellow school bus on a Tuesday afternoon. Nobody was happy. We chose Megan as the starting pitcher. By this stage of the season, her fastball was nasty and her rise ball was nastier. Then, like a fantasy come true, she threw a no-hit, no-run game against the second-seeded Southern Maine. It was a true all-out team effort. Now we were going to go to Western Connecticut for the LEC Final Four after the yellow school bus ride back to Keene. In the LEC tournament, we had to play through the loser's bracket, but we won the championship. Megan finished it by throwing a 10-inning, 1-hit shutout over Plymouth State and a 2-hit shutout over heavily favored Western Connecticut. The opposing pitchers for Plymouth and Western were nationally recognized people. Excuse me, my allergies are bothering me. There's nothing to do with emotion. Megan's appearance in the subsequent NCAA regional tournament opened with a heartbreaking loss to Western New England College, but she came back on the second day with an exciting 9-inning 3-2 victory over second-seeded Tufts. I wish I could tell you the details of what the conversations were like in the dugout, but I can't because it's not appropriate. You're going to tell them what happened? You're going to tell them what no? Okay. Megan might tell you that her second year was just a blur. She doesn't feel that she knew the significance of what was happening at the time. She just played. I've heard her say, my teammates told me what to do, and I just did it. The team expectations for the next year, 2004, were very high, bringing on a whole new outlook. Keene State was ranked 17th in the preseason Division III poll, and we'd never been ranked before like that. Soon, a heretofore hidden personality emerged. Megan's middle name is Agnes. A name that has been passed down traditionally through the family. So there's nothing wrong with that. But it seems a unique Agnes personality began to show up every time Megan pitched, and I'll talk more about that later on. This very talented team did not fail to meet expectations as KSC won the LEC regular season. Megan won numerous postseason awards. However, a nightmare waited the LEC tournament. The first game went 22 innings. We had no lights at Keene State. It sort of put the tournament off schedule, and it was not the only extra inning game. Top seeded Keene State, that would be us, did not play a game until the second day of the tournament. And before we could take a breath, we were in the losers bracket after losing a one-run, 12-inning game. We won the next game, and then we lost in 16 innings, exiting the tournament very disappointed. Despite a magnificent year, we did not advance to the NCAA tournament. A huge, talented recruiting class arrived for the 2005 season. That team won more and lost fewer games than any other softball team in Keene State history. After finishing second in the regular season, we roared through the 3 games of the LEC tournament undefeated, giving up no runs. Agnes pitched all 3 games. The team performance in the NCAA regional tournament was excellent. After beating UMaine Farmington, then Harseeds, Babson, and Induc, we lost in the finals to a very talented Williams team. I'm sorry to bring that up. It was an outstanding season. All right, enough of that. Megan's statistical history is easy to read about if you can understand the numbers. But she had so many intangibles. As Megan matured, she was asked to pitch against the more difficult opponents when it was most important. Throughout all of those games, she demonstrated an exemplary mental toughness that was not merely combative. She had a rare ability to stay focused under pressure. On the field, she was the example to follow, fully concentrating on each pitch, one at a time, which was a day-to-day, every game performance from mid-March to mid-May. Whenever Megan pitched, Agnes would emerge. And Agnes had no tolerance for failure. If the pitch was not in the right location, she could clearly be heard, right on, encouraging herself to be more effective on the next pitch. All right, maybe encouraging yourself is a bit of an understatement, it's accurate, but it's a polite term. I had to go and talk to the umpires before each game so that they would understand that she was not evaluating their decisions about balls and strikes, but merely an evaluation of her own performance. Some observers often felt that Agnes was talking to or about opposing batters. Teammates often were seen leaning in to listen to what she was saying. Yes, you raise your hand right there. And relaying it to her teammates. Her concentration is legendary. Agnes had not emerged yet for this next story. When Megan pitched a no-hitter against Southern Maine, she did not know it. She called her parents after the game to tell them that KSC had won the game, blah, 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 etc. So forth, right, little school bus back. About 15 minutes later, they received a follow-up call, and according to Charlie, who relayed this to me a couple of days ago, she said, they just told me I threw a no-hitter. Did not know it. Zeroed in on game outcome. In her 3rd year, Agnes pitched a perfect game against Eastern Connecticut. As she did for every inning, she came off the field loudly extolling her teammates for more runs after the 7th inning. We only play 7 innings. She knew that we were ahead by 2 runs, but she felt that we needed more. She was not aware that the game was over. Nor had she any idea that she'd thrown a perfect game. She never had any concern about personal statistics. She would move away from any conversations about her stats, Charlie. The only thing that mattered to her was whether the team won or lost. A watermark statistic for a pitcher is the earned run average. 12 years prior to 2003, that would be her sophomore year, the Keene State ERA was set at .91. At the end of the 2003 season, that would be her sophomore year, Megan's earned run average was .68, gone from .91 to .68. Substantial reduction. I would give anything for a pitcher that would throw under 1. Here I got under 68, under 1. 6th best in the country. But wait, there's more. The fact that she did that cannot be found in the NCAA record book because she did not pitch the required NCAA 100 innings. She only pitched 93. The 100-inning rule applies to Division I, Division II, and Division III, in spite of the fact that Division I and Division II are allowed to play 55 games and we're allowed to play only 40 games. In 2004, she reset the ERA record to .34, okay? We broke it to .91, 0.68, now we're at .34. It was second in the nation because the coach allowed to pitch 145 innings. In 2005, she had an even lower ERA, which was .21. This was the lowest ERA in the nation. But it's even more remarkable considering the fact that she went head-to-head with Induc and Babson pitchers who were competing with her for that title in the NCAA regional. She shut out both of these teams. NCAA regional All-American voting occurs before the start of the postseason, and both of those pitchers were voted to the regional team ahead of Megan, mostly based on ERA at the end of the regular season. Now here's another little known ugly fact that she doesn't like to hear and they don't like to hear. Megan McLoughlin has the lowest ERA, .39, for 4 years of any Division III pitcher in the history of the NCAA. Oh wait, you can't find that in the record book either. In order to be in the record book, no matter what NCAA division you play in, you must have thrown in a minimum of 400 innings. Megan threw 398. Too short. But it gets worse. On 5 occasions during her career, she pitched in games that were shortened to 5 innings by the mercy rule, because in softball, if you get ahead by 8, game's over at the end of 5 innings. That's 10 more innings that you might have possibly pitched. Even if she got 1 or 2 of them, she'd have been over them. My personal opinion is it just doesn't seem right. But you gotta love the NCAA, right? Or you can blame the coach.
We love you, man!
Never before, never since have I ever had the same feeling that I had when Agnes was pitching. I felt that if KSC got 1 run ahead, that was all they needed. You cannot imagine the feeling as a coach to be able to sit in the dugout and go, If you never saw her play, you missed a great show. I enjoyed every terrorizing inning of it. But what could be better for me? Because it is all about me. Megan stayed on after she graduated and still is at Keene State as an assistant softball coach. I still see her every day during the season. One more thing, Megan. Does anybody know what I'm going to say next? As long as I'm the coach, nobody's ever going to wear that number again.
First, I'd just like to congratulate the other inductees for all their accomplishments. It's really an honor to be grouped with such an amazing group of athletes. So, congratulations to you. Over the last few months, I've realized the journey to become Agnes began long before I got to college, and it included many ups and downs that will be lifetime memories. Along with the on-the-field and off-the-field experiences, most importantly, I will remember the people who helped me, supported me, and shared the successes and struggles with me. Without following people, my journey wouldn't have been the same. I'll start with my family. First, I'd like to thank my mom for pushing me to even apply to Keene State. At first, I was adamant that Keene was too close. There was no way I was even going to apply. I won't look, I won't go on a tour, I'm not doing anything. I'm glad we were able to change my mind. My parents have been my best supporters during my challenges, as well as my loudest cheerleaders. My dad would do anything to help me improve my softball skills. I remember playing catch for hours as a kid in the street in front of our house, just asking him to do the talking thing. When I was preparing to meet with Charlie to discuss attending Keene State, my dad helped me brainstorm questions, what I would ask him, what I wanted to know, and he also helped me practice answering the questions Charlie would ask, because that was important. As I got older, he was always willing to catch for me, even when it meant sitting in a chair and I could only throw change-ups and rise balls. During games, I could always hear his steady, directive voice, no matter how loud others were cheering. He always wanted me to put the ball on the inside corner on the batter's hands. Additionally, like Charlie mentioned, my dad always kept my stats. He always knew when they changed. He always knew when they were updated. He would ask weekly if I want to know. Do you want to know, Megan? Do you want to know? The answer was always no. Together, my parents pushed me to be a better softball player, teammate, and person. For that, I thank you. I would also like to thank my coaches. My high school coaches provided me with a solid foundation of knowledge, as well as mental skills that prepared me for the next level. When I began as a high school athlete, my mental toughness needed a lot of work. As a sophomore, I was the starting varsity pitcher. We were playing an annual tournament against the rival school when things began to fall apart. Surprisingly, I couldn't find the strike zone, and when I did, the other team hit the ball just out of reach. It began with a few tears, and then later was followed by a full-out sob. The next thing I remember was hearing my coach call time and being out of the dugout headed straight for me. When she got to the circle, I could barely breathe. I was crying so hard. She looked me in the eye, pointed her finger at me, and said, "You better pull yourself together and get this done, or I'll find someone else who can." And she turned around and walked back into the dugout. From this experience, it became clear that the position of a pitcher required a significant amount of mental toughness, and I would like to thank all of my high school coaches for helping me develop it. It was put to good use at Keene State, so thank you. Over my playing career, Deb, Charlie, and Katie played a critical role in my development as a softball player. Thank you for believing in me and holding me to your high expectations, even though I got off to a slow start and did some things that I now know, after coaching with you for a while, drive you crazy. The first example, at the LEC tournament my sophomore year, I was pitching every other game and we were trying to play out of the loser's bracket. Charlie, Deb, my dad, and I were standing outside the subway while the rest of the team was inside getting food. Charlie and Deb were discussing what the lineup would possibly be for the next game. Charlie asked my dad if I wanted to start the next game, and my dad responded, "I don't know, why don't you ask her?" So Charlie turned to me and said, "Do you want the ball?" I responded with, maybe, sure. Charlie demands confidence, so that was not the right answer. The success of that season helped me develop my confidence, and after that, I wanted the ball every chance I could get. Later that same season, we were again trying to battle out of the loser's bracket, and we were playing toughs. A runner reached second base. The next girl hit a ground ball up through the infield, and I was supposed to be the cutoff for home. I couldn't hear anything, and I really had no idea what was going on, so I cut the ball off and the run scored. The game was now tied. We got out of the inning, and on my way to the dugout, I crossed paths with Charlie. He stopped and asked me, "Why did you cut off that throw?" I didn't know, so that's what I said. That was the wrong answer. He said something along the lines of, next time you're going to make a decision like that, you should know why you're doing it. There were a few other things mixed in there that are not appropriate. After that, I was much more intentional when I was on the field, and thank you for having faith in my ability as a competitor. I have gained a tremendous amount of personal confidence from my experiences as a Keene State player. Thank you, Charlie, Deb, and Katie, for that opportunity, as well as the opportunity to meet some of the most honest, dedicated, hardworking, fun-loving, and talented softball teammates and friends I could ask for. I want to thank and honor my teammates. There is no way to capture all of my fondest memories and all the appreciation I have for all of you. Thank you for hitting home runs, turning double plays, stealing bases, making diving catches, blocking balls in the dirt, and supporting me unconditionally. While I'm appreciative of tonight's honor, it is a direct reflection of the collective efforts of each of the fielders and hitters with whom I played. I must specifically acknowledge my second halves, the catchers. They did the hard, sweaty, dirty work every pitch, whether it was a practice or a game. I thank you for sharing intensity, encouraging me on my off days, and trying to control Agnes. During my career at Keene State, there was one constant when I was on the mound, my third base person, who luckily was also my classmate. I could always count on Norm to comment on the location or movement of my pitches or the umpire's calls. She would casually hop over close to the circle to get the pitch call, make a casual comment like, "Meg, I thought that was supposed to be a rise ball," or "That would look good to me," and hop back into position. Thank you for your calm and confident presence next to me. Most importantly, without each of you, I would have missed all of the great Keene State softball memories and successes. Thank you to my friends, families, coaches, teammates for being here tonight. You are all very special to me. Thank you.
Megan's plaque reads, Keene State Athletic Hall of Fame, Megan McLoughlin, 05, softball. Two-time Little East Pitcher of the Year, lowest ERA in NCAA Division III 2005, KSC record for ERA, season and career, KSC Female Athlete of the Year, inducted February 4th, 2012. So before wrapping up this evening, I want to thank everyone for coming, but especially a couple of people I'd like to thank, and that's Tamara Liquinato, who put this all together. Tamara, please stand up. Also, our sports information staff of Stuart Kaufman and John Napolitano for all the work they do in the program that's here tonight. Thank you.